What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, coach of your Montreal Milotic, bringing you our draft analysis for Season 7 of the BBL. We are here. It is the Boomers Battlers League. Actually, it is not. It is the Banlist Battlers League. If you guys are new, we have been part of the BBL for every single season. Majority of them have been on Wi-Fi. I believe we only had one on Showdown. That was, I think, 2 seasons ago when we finished with the top record in the league. Maybe it was 3 seasons ago, or maybe we did 2 seasons on Wi-Fi. Regardless, we finished with the top record in the league once. Last season was a wild ride. The first 5 weeks were really tough for us. We ended up going 1-4, and I felt like we could have easily gone like 4-1. It's crazy. I really felt we had a phenomenal team. We just choked so many times, and then we made a shit ton of transactions. Our entire team basically was flipped on its head, and we had a brand new team. And what happened? We went 4-1 in the last 5 weeks, snuck into playoffs, and then unfortunately we lost to the eventual champions, which really does hurt, and his goddamn Weavile. So I'm like kind of frustrated about that. But we definitely had a way to win the whole thing. We just lost to a really good player with some really good prep who ended up taking on and winning the whole tournament, whole championship, the whole league. So hopefully that can be us this season, because our team is still very scary. Now, do I think it's the best team I've ever drafted in the BBL? No. But it's still a good one nonetheless. It has a couple really good win conditions that facilitate for each other, and I think the team is really solid and put together really well. So shout out to my front office for all the help. Shout out to Liv as well for help as well. She is our resident Uber's expert that I know of. So she was able to help me out at least a little bit as well. Now, this is a Wi-Fi league. As always, we are going to be doing Wi-Fi leagues on the channel. I also want to say, guys, this league is going to be a good one. It's on Mondays. Every Monday you're going to get this, and I'm hoping that you guys will be able to enjoy this series, because it's going to be a league coming at you for quite a while. But I don't think BBL is going to go anywhere. It really isn't. It's a phenomenal league. It's a points league, so we are given a certain number of points. We're given Ubers that we can select from. Basically, the Ubers, I think our total was 120 points or 130 points, something like that. I think it was 130. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But regardless, 130 points. 41 of those points can be allocated towards Ubers. The Uber tier was from the 24 points tier to the 18 point tier. So basically, you drafted a 24 point Pokemon, something like Marshadow, then you could not grab another Uber. 23 point Pokemon, you could only grab a Pokemon that was in the 18 point tier, nothing above that. And that would be something like, I think Naganadel was in the 18 point tier, something along those lines. So you can get something like that to pair along with the 23 point Pokemon. And that's how it worked. And then the rest of it was just a standard points draft. You can choose anywhere between 10 and 12 Pokemon. I personally lean towards going to 10 Pokemon. I think that's more of a better option, just for me at least. I'd rather have quality over quantity. Obviously, there's certain, I guess, changes or rules that I could break with that, depending on what's available and what my team is missing. But I felt like my team is really solid here. It's not missing very much in my eyes, and we can definitely put in a lot of work with this team. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. And starting off with our first mon, we had the 6th overall pick, and I was hoping Magearna would fall to me. I'm like, this is fantastic. Magearna will fall to me. It is 6 points. Not 6 points, 22 points. I'm the 6th pick. People are going to take the broken Ubers first. They're going to leave Magearna after. I really want Magearna. I was hoping to pair Magearna with Naganadel, actually, and that would have been a phenomenal pairing. Volt switching, momentum. Obviously, both are weak to ground, but I can get some really good ground answers on my team. Something like a Bulu or a Rillaboom was actually my target, and that would help me out a lot with these Pokemon. Unfortunately, one pick before us, Q ends up taking Magearna, and I'm super pissed about that because I was loving Magearna. I was getting so excited to use it to pair it with another Uber, but unfortunately it got sniped. So instead we have our backup option, which I kind of can't believe was around, and a lot of people couldn't believe was around as well. It is going to be Rayquaza. Rayquaza, however you want to pronounce it, I don't care. This Pokemon is insane. I cannot stress how incredible its stats are. Its stats, 150 attack, 150 special attack. Insane. And on top of that, it has enough HP to make sure that subs are not broken by something like Seismic Toss, which is insane. It's amazing. It's a Dragon Flying type, which is cool because it's got a really good offensive typing. The fact that it gets an amazing physical flying option is just ridiculous. It has Dragon Ascent, the only Pokemon that gets this move. 120 base power, 100% accurate, just an absolute nuke. Offensive flying type attacks are already insane in draft. Bird Spam, as my door just shut for some reason. Bird Spam is incredible. Flying Spam, incredible. Absolutely insane. On top of that, it is one of the only Pokemon that gets access to V-Create as well. One of the best answers to flying type moves are steel types. V-Create demolishes them. Other than that, Earthquake for something like electric types. I couldn't think of the word. Electric types. Also for steel types. Also for rock types. All these types that resist flying. You get Rayquaza that gets Earthquake, hits them for super effective damage, 100 base power, still a phenomenal move. Gets set up in Dragon Dance and in Swords Dance, gets priority in E-Speed is amazing. It gets Defog, so it's a Defogger if I really need it. Not the bulkiest thing in the world, to be honest. It's only got 105 HP with 90 in both defenses, and its speed is a little bit lackluster, but with access to Tailwind, Dragon Dance, and Extreme Speed, it really doesn't need to have all that. You can easily run a dual dancing set and put in a lot of work with Rayquaza. This Pokemon is absolutely insane. Gets so many different TMs, gets Ice Beam, gets Outrage, gets Overheat, gets so many different incredible moves, electric type attacks as well. I definitely think this Pokemon is going to be an absolute nuke for us, and the whole game plan with this build, with this team, is to get Rayquaza in as much as possible, click the murder button, and basically get a KO. I think Rayquaza could easily be one of the kill leaders this entire season. Our team is very scary, and we'll be able to put it in a position to succeed. The one thing we have to worry about is Ice Shard. That's a big problem. It's not like Mega Ray, which will reduce the damage that flying types would take from attacks, like super effective attacks. So unfortunately, we're still kind of worried about Ice Shards, but we have a couple ways around that to prevent Ice Shards from coming our way. One of them I thought was, oh, maybe I can get Tapu Lele, but unfortunately the way Lele works is terrain, it's stupid. I thought it was the opposite way around, but terrain, if you are off the ground, you can still be attacked by terrain, okay? By not terrain, priority, excuse me. So my Rayquaza can still be hit by Ice Shards even in terrain. But I thought it was, well, Rayquaza's off the ground, meaning it is allowed to use this E-Speed on Pokemon that are on the ground. That's not how it works. So unfortunately, we decided to go against the Lele idea, but I definitely thought it was going to be a really solid option for us. Unfortunately, not going to be the case. Our next Mon, though, coming back around to us, I was really debating here. I kind of have 3 Mons in my sights. I have Mew, I have Aegislash, I have Zorora. I would love, and Coco as well, excuse me. I have 4 Mons in my sights, and I'm really hoping that I can get 2, 3 of these 4, and I definitely think I can. So I'm thinking here, do I get Mew? Do I get Zorora? I'm thinking, like, you know, Mew is probably going to go first. Mew is a bit better than Zorora, I think, in this format. So I'm going to go with Mew here. And Mew is a fantastic option. 17 points, really solid here. Gives us another, like, pseudo Uber. It's a really good Mon. 100 base across the board is fantastic. Basically gets every single move in the game. Gives us a good defogger, a good defensive Pokemon, a fantastic setup sweeper as well. Screens, gets us hazards. Basically gives us everything we could possibly want. And the problem with this, as Julia walks in, is that you can't really run Mew as like a one-trick pony. It has to be able to do everything. You have to set it up in a way where it can do pretty much everything. If you set it up in a way where it's going to be just locked to one role, it's going to struggle. And I do not want it to struggle, okay? So I can't say I'm happy that Mew is going to be, you know, a key piece of the team, but I'm happy that we have it on the roster, and its success is going to be predicated on how well we build our draft. That's really it. So if we can do that, we're set. Mew will be fantastic. But if we lock it into being a defensive psychic type, it's not going to be in a good position. We really want this thing to be able to be flexible and do anything we can possibly want it to do. It pairs really well with Rayquaza because you can kind of volt switch around, get into Ray pretty easily. I believe Mew gets teleport as well. I should probably double check that. I'm like 95% sure it gets teleport. It does get teleport, fantastic. So we can actually just teleport right into Rayquaza, which is nice. Get the slow momentum into Ray, break things. Another cool thing with Ray is we can run something like a White Herb set. With V-Create or Dragon Ascent, we have the White Herb, not the White Herb, when I'm saying the Eject Pack. So we Dragon Ascent something, Eject Pack out, I keep saying White Herb, but Eject Pack out into another setup sweeper, like potentially our Mew, we're in business. It's going to be fantastic. Our next Mon is going to be our Aegislash here. We got sniped, unfortunately, of Zorora. I would have loved to have it on the team. We got sniped with Coco as well, so we couldn't get them, but Aegislash is really good because this pairing, this combination here of Aegislash, Mew, Rayquaza is insane. The problem with this is Aegislash it's good, but it's really difficult to build with. Now, I love it. I've gone to the finals with Aegislash before. I'm a big fan of how it works. It's really tough to build with it because the build is a bit more, how do I say it? You're building for 2 Pokemon basically in one. You have to build for your calcs defensively while you have the 140 base defense and special defense. You have to build for your attack while you have the boosted attack, but you also have to build for when it's at 50 in its defenses and attacks. You really have to be careful. So I want to make sure that I have the best way to take care of this Aegislash to make sure that it's not going to be pressured into a bad situation. It pairs really well with the Rayquaza. Rayquaza is weak to what? It's weak to Ice, it's weak to Dragon, it's weak to Rock. Aegislash resists all of those types. Aegislash is weak to Fire and to Ground. Rayquaza is immune to ground and is resisting fire. It's also weak to ghost and dark, I believe, is Aegislash, but at the same time, I feel like we're going to be able to cover that a bit later on. Rayquaza doesn't resist those, but we have one of the best ghost types in the entire format, so I don't feel too worried about it. The only like ghost type that's an Uber is going to be not Rayquaza, not Genesect, what am I saying? can't think of the name. Giratina, that's the one. So if we can kind of avoid a Giratina matchup or handle that Pokemon because of our dark types and our ice types, then we should be in a really good position to handle it. And this team is so far is looking really, really, really nice. Moving on though, our next mon, over here we have the trade. My original pick was Galarian Darmanitan, but I spoke with Just Lucas, and he managed to give me a trade, and we ended up trading for Weavile. So one of the options for Ice Shard is now off the board. The best option, arguably, for Ice Shard is off the board. Yes, there's Mamoswine, but we have probably the better one in the Weavile, which is fantastic for us. It gives us an amazing speed tier. 125 is phenomenal. Stab knockoff gives access to Psycho Cut for those fighting types that might want to come in. Triple Axle is an amazing move. The speed, the priority, the setup, the Swords Dance, all these things are absolutely phenomenal. Pairing Weavile with a fantastic Ghost type is absolutely insane. You guys saw last season, we lost to a team with Weavile plus Gengar. It's crazy. Yesterday, we had the NCP finals go up. There was a team with Weavile and Gengar. That pairing is phenomenal. A good Ghost with a Weavile is great, and we have a phenomenal Ghost in Aegislash, arguably the best Ghost in the entire format. I think it's fantastic. Losing on Pursuit does kind of suck, but our answers to Psychic types right now are absolutely phenomenal. Mew resists, Aegislash resists, Weavile immune. Two of these Pokemon hit it for super effective damage. For Stab, super effective damage. It's absolutely insane, and for 15 points, I thought Weavile was definitely a steal. We now have a pretty big speed tier gap between Mew and Weavile. It's 25 points, so we have to get something in between that to kind of cover. And if we can do that, we'd be really, really happy. But usually, majority of the time, Weavile will be the fastest Pokemon in a given matchup, and that'll give us a huge advantage because we can just weaken things consistently against my opponent's teams, weaken their checks to Rayquaza, and kind of force things in, forcing those Steel types, forcing those Rock types, those Fighting types, those whatever types, and then Ray can kind of just go to work against their team. And at the same time, this gives me a really good Ice Shard user against opposing dragons like Salamence, Dragonites, Latios, and Latias. That'll allow me to weaken them for Rayquaza. It also helps me out a lot because we're faster than the majority of the Uber's tier. I believe Marshadow will actually outspeed me. I'm going to double check that quickly because I think Marshadow is 130. It's a speed tie. Marshadow is 125, so is Weavile. So in theory, we should be able to speed tie that, and that's a really good way to kind of take advantage of a Pokemon like that. We can go ahead and run maybe a Choice Scarf, hit it for super effective damage with our Psycho Cut, go for a knockoff on it. Triple Axe is going to do a shit ton of damage as well. So basically, Weavile is just a really good blanket check offensively for a lot of different things, and there really isn't a good answer to it in my eyes. I think Weavile is just so good as a way to just check things, not much resistance dual stab options. That is definitely for sure. Next up though, we really need a couple answers. We need something to just be a good check to quite a few things. We need a ground type, we need a poison type, we need a fire type. We need Pokemon that can just come in, take some hits, switch out, and just be annoying, and at the same time support our team really well. And that's where this pick comes in. It's going to be Nidoqueen. Now Nidoqueen I absolutely love in this format. I think it's going to be really good because we are bulky enough to take a ton of hits, we're fast enough to just outspeed a lot of walls, and we're a fantastic wall breaker too. It gives us access to spikes and, well not spikes, but just toxic spikes and stealth rocks, that's it. It gives us a grounded poison with my team. I honestly, ever since, like, I keep drafting teams with grounded poison types, and lately I have been doing it. I'm drafting teams with toxic spikes available, and it's made a huge difference in my building. I really feel like it's not locking me into just running defog or running boots or whatever against a team with toxic spikes. It's just now I have an answer to it, and it's a really good answer too, so it's not going to motivate people to bring in their toxic spike user when mine honestly is just so much better. Earth Power hits like a truck, Ice Beam like a truck, Flamethrower, Fire Blast, Thunderbolt, Sludge Wave, all these things just hit like a truck, gets priority and Sucker Punch as well. I definitely think that Nidoqueen could be an absolutely huge benefit for us. Gives us a decent speed tier, 76 is pretty good here. Really powerful offensive Pokemon, and also just a really good defensive Pokemon as well. With Black Sludge you can take a lot of hits, lose out the extra power from the Life Orb with Sheer Force, but you can't always expect to run that. The one gripe I have with this is that it doesn't get momentum, but there's really not many ground types that actually do get momentum. I would love it if there were, but there just aren't, and that's going to cause a bit of problems. This Pokemon does have quite a few weaknesses as well. Ice, it has weakness to ground, to water, to psychic. There's quite a few of them, and I need to make sure I have a way to kind of handle them. And thankfully, we do have quite a few answers to those types already. I said Ice, we have our Aegislash, we have our Weavile in quotes, because Weavile's like, I don't know, it's going to take hits like nothing. It's not going to take any hits. Water, we have Ray. Ground, Ray. Psychic, Weavile. Aegislash, Mew. We have answers to these things' weaknesses. I definitely think it's a fantastic pairing so far. And I believe we sniped D-Ray as well with this, so I was pretty happy about that because he was going to come up pretty soon after me. So hey, we got it at the right time, which is really cool. 13 points as well. Kind of steal in my eyes. Definitely the better Nidoking, Nidoqueen, or Nido, whatever, in this entire format. I'm happy to have it. Next up though, we're going to be grabbing An important Pokemon for the team. This is actually really important for us. Helps us out with our speed tiers. We have Whimsicott. Now, Whimsicott helps us out with our speed tiers because it goes between Mew and Rayquaza, and it's actually a perfect fit. Not Rayquaza, what am I saying? Mew and Weavile, that's it. So 116 will make it so that any 115ers have to still run a Timid Nature to outspeed Mew guaranteed. So that's something. It's obviously they're not always going to run Timid because Mew may not want to run fully offensive, fully speed boosted, but at the same time, if I run an offensive set, they kind of have to. And they don't know if I'm going to run offensive or defensive in a given week. They really don't. Whimsicott gives me a speed manipulation tactic with Tailwind, Prankster Tailwind, and Prankster Stun Spore as well. Gives me Leech Seed, gives me a Fairy type, gives me a ground resist as well, because look at my team right now. I have 1 ground immunity in the Rayquaza, which doesn't want to come in and take rock attacks at all. Doesn't get roost, unfortunately. It really sucks. I wish it did. But then my team is pretty damn weak to the ground type attacks, the ground spam. Mew doesn't resist. Aegislash, weak. Weavile, again, not taking any hits. And then there's Nidoqueen, weak as well. So we have an option now for those things. We have an option for fighting types. We have quite a few options for a lot of different things on our team. And this Whimsicott just adds to our gluttony of answers for Weavile's checks, which is fantastic. Obviously, fire is a bit of a problem now. We do have the offensive check in Nidoqueen, and we do have a kind of defensive check-ish in the Rayquaza. So I feel pretty good about this. I think it's a really good option for us. It gives us a lot of support. Prankster Taunts, Prankster Encore, just Prankster everything is fantastic. It's pretty offensive as well with Moonblast, and in a good matchup, it can really put in a lot of work. And a sub Leechy set can be really deadly in the right situations, can beat down a lot of different things, especially if my opponent doesn't have a good Dark type, or their Dark type is like weak to Fairy rather, which most of them are. So I feel really good about having Whimsicott on the roster. Really good Pokemon to have. Kind of annoying. I used it once with Celesteela in another league. I think I also had, what else did I have on that team? I think I had Sand as well on that team. Forget, probably did, not positive, I can't really remember, but basically I used it as a way to be a pivot, to be annoying, to get into a really solid matchup, and we actually have really good ways to handle the checks as well. Poison types, they do not appreciate my team whatsoever, so I definitely have a really solid answer for Whimsicott. Next up though is going to be our Vaporeon. Now Vaporeon I have not drafted in quite a while. I was really hoping to actually get Milotic here because of Marvel Scale, because of just the added bulk. Obviously its HP isn't as high, but it also can be very offensive too. Vaporeon can definitely be offensive at the same time. 110 special attack is nothing to laugh at. It's got 130 speed, or 130 HP rather. I believe it's got 110 special attack. I should double check that as well. Yeah, 110 special attack is really good. It gets Wish, which allows me to help out my Rayquaza, help out my Aegislash, help out my Mew. It's pretty slow and it gets Flip Turn now for momentum, so you're not just locked into running Baton Pass as well, which is really awesome. You can do some damage now. Love that. Scald, Ice Beam, Heal Bell, Protect, Toxic, all these moves are really useful. Roar as well. Basically, Vaporeon is going to be locked into running quite a few of the same moves, to be honest, but I have actually done phenomenal things with Vaporeon. It actually was my kill leader one season, in the season we went to the finals the second time in the IBL. We actually went to the finals with it. Baton Passing stats was allowed, so Baton Pass a bunch of stats into Vaporeon, and Store Power swept my opponents quite a few times, and it was fantastic. But I think Vaporeon is going to be a really good blanket check for a lot of things, a good pivot for us. I would love if this thing got like Regenerator. Oh my god, I would lose my mind. But on top of that, a really big benefit, it gives us a Scald switch in, because most of my team so far is mixed, but a lot of it wants to run physical. Aegislash wants to be physical, Mew physical, Mew whatever you want, honestly. Weavile physical. Rayquaza, while it can be special, it's probably gonna be better physical because of Dragon Ascent being its main stab option. That's really it. Having a way to be a Scald switch-in, a Burn switch-in is fantastic for us. I really think it's phenomenal for us as well. Just what it does for our team is huge. It gives us an electric weakness and a grass weakness. It's a good thing that our poison type is not, or sorry, our ground type rather, is not weak to grass. So now we have an answer for the Pokemon that want to come in and do a lot of big damage to the Vaporeon. We do have some problems again still. Like, it's not appreciating taking ground type attacks, and that is looking like it's going to be a problem for us. So I'm hoping that we have an answer for those things. It's just really important that we do. That's really it. I think Vaporeon is just going to be a really good pivot for us, allows us to get in Rayquaza pretty easily, and that's what I'm kind of building the later part of my draft around, getting in the big threats, the Mew, the Aegislash, the Rayquaza, the Weavile, all these things, getting them in as quickly as possible with a lot of slower momentum is what I'm trying to do with the rest of this team. Next up though, we have, if my OBS, come, there we go, hooray. Arcanine is here. Now, Arcanine is fantastic for this team. I did not think I was going to get it. I did not think it was going to make it to me. If I didn't get Weavile, I was thinking I might go Incineroar. But the reason Arcanine is so much better is because, one, it still gets Intimidate, but it also gets Flash Fire. My team right now is pretty weak to fire types. Aegislash and Weavile and Whimsicott, all weak to fire. Mew, not Mew, I keep saying Mew, but I don't want to say Mew. Rayquaza, Vaporeon, they are resisting fire, but that's really it. I want to be able to have an answer to fire types when I can come in, flash fire, get the recovery back, get the boost rather in my special attack and my fire type attacks, is fantastic. Priority E-Speed, Will-O-Wisp, Recovery and Morning Sun. Boots is a very common item on this Pokemon, and while my defog options aren't the best, I have 3 of them right now in Ray, Mew, and Whimsicott, I still want to be able to run defog if need be. This Pokemon gives me access to Extreme Speed as well. Fantastic option to have. Powerful physical options and special options. Gets Wild Charge, gets access to Flare Blitz, gets Close Combat, Crunch, Play Rough. Tons of great coverage options, but the most important thing this Pokemon gets is Intimidate with Teleport. Super valuable to get a slow teleport off into something else that's at -1 attack rather, into my Rayquaza, my Mew, my Weavile, my Aegislash, whatever. Getting that switch in is going to be fantastic. That slow pivot in is going to be absolutely crucial for our team. I definitely think as a pivot, Arcanine is going to be fantastic. I don't want to make it seem like it's going to be an offensive breaker. It's got really good offensive stats, but it is not going to be an offensive breaker for us. It really will not be. Arcanine is just, in theory, it's so cool. I've struggled to use it in the past. I'm hoping that I can turn that around in the future for the season. And for 12 points, honestly, I was really happy with getting it. Just having teleport is going to be absolutely key for it. It really is. Our next Mon is going to be a fan favorite. Vikavolt is back. Now, a little word from our buddy Josh here. Okay, I'm going to cut it and Josh is going to see.
Oh my god, Matt, have you heard of the greatest electric-type Pokemon named Vikavolt? This bitchin' Pokemon has access to Sticky Web. That's right, Sticky Web. Right off the bat, we have an excellent Pokemon providing amazing team support and putting hazard pressure on your opponent. This Pokemon also comes equipped with deceptively good bulk, allowing it to stomach numerous resisted and neutral attacks, and even has Roost, so it can heal off all the damage it takes. But I'm not done yet. Vikavolt is not just a support and pivot mon, this thing can sweep. With the move Agility, this Pokemon is able to outpace a very large portion of the unboosted meta game, even with its low speed, and go for game with its massive 145 base special attack. Not enough damage for you? Add in Throat Spray, and trigger with Stab Bug Buzz for even more terrifying bug strats. And last but not least, this Pokemon can even serve the role as a breaker when you give this thing choice specs. What's taking 2 Specs Thunderbolts on your team? Not shit, that's what. This amazing Pokemon can all be yours for the low price of $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Call now.
Vikavolt is just fantastic, okay? Webs, electric type, ground immunity, powerful special attack, options to sweep. Josh really said it all. So I'm going to go ahead and just continue to our next Mon because I don't really have much else to say on it because you guys heard it from Josh. It is going to be our final Mon on the team, Sock. We had 6 points left. Now Sock was the option for the fighting type because the real one I wanted was going to be Mienshao. I really would have loved to have Mienshao to have access to a bulky Pokemon with an Assault Vest to give me Regenerator and Momentum as well. I just couldn't get it. So instead we went with Sock here. Now Sock was a secondary option. It was either this or Girder. And if I went Girder, I believe I had an additional point to spend. But I went with Sock because having the ability to be, well, one, have knockoff is still great. But having Sturdy with Boots is a really good option to deal with some of these setup sweepers that can be coming my way. And I believe I get counter as well. So I can just counter an attack back to my opponent with the Boots and just really have a guaranteed way to take a hit, fire back, do a shit ton of damage, and be just good to go. That's really what Sock provides for us. It also helps us out with deal with those normal types that we're going to be coming in because our team right now, it doesn't hit normals for super effective damage anywhere, and while Ray is good, while Mew is good, gets fighting coverage, while Aegislash gets fighting coverage, while Weavile gets fighting coverage, while everything gets fighting coverage, we don't have an actual fighting type, and the bulky normals can be a lot of big problems for us, so we have an option. And I think Sock is definitely the weak link on our team, but our team right now is really well balanced. I don't see a true problem with our team. Right now, I think the biggest ones, Rockers, not the best. We have Mew plus Nidoqueen, while those two individually as Rockers are fantastic, as hazard setters and spikes with Mew is fantastic. It's just not the best options because most of the time we're going to want them to be offensive or not locked into a specific role as that rocker, as that status absorber, as that hazard setter, whatever. I think this is definitely still a really good team though, nonetheless. The biggest weaknesses that my team has right now in terms of an offensive typing, I'm not really a fan of how we take flying type attacks because our only resist to flying is going to be our Aegislash. Nothing else resists it, but like I said, we have the best flying spam user in the game in Rayquaza, and if we can get a Dragon Dance up, it's not going to matter. Nothing is going to take our hits. We're going to be in an absolute powerhouse with Rayquaza, especially at +1 or +2, so I'm hoping that we can do that. Other than that though, what else should I be pointing out here? Speed tier for our Sock is very important. That was another reason. Sock, I believe, reaches base 85, if I'm not mistaken. That's really important because our team has a pretty big jump in speed. Our team, I believe, goes from if I'm not Aegislash, from Rayquaza all the way down, Rayquaza / Arcanine, excuse me, all the way down to base 76 with Nidoqueen. So this fixes that speed tier as well, because if I didn't have this, then basically anything that can outspeed, anything like Brown base 90-ish, will be able to outspeed Nidoqueen while being modest or adamant and do a shit ton of damage to everything. Now they can't afford that because Sock will outspeed them. Have to do that, have to go about it. Definitely really happy with how this setup worked, how this team came to be. Not the team that I envisioned at the start of the draft, that's for sure, but I'm really happy with how it went. I think our team is just phenomenal, and the fact that we have so many slow pivoting options like the Arcanine, the Vikavolt, the Vaporeon, the Mew to an extent with teleports or with Volt Switch or whatever, to get into our big monster threats is really useful here. 10 Pokemon is all we're going with. I don't need a single one more. I think the team is just really solid and is definitely just a scary option for anyone to deal with. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this team builder draft analysis, what am I saying, and you guys will stick around for the entire season with us. If you guys are new, do me a favor guys, leave a like on the video, and of course subscribe to the channel. If you guys want more competitive Pokemon content, Draft League, VGC, I'm going to be doing some showdown stuff, some other stuff on the channel as well. Subscribe to the channel, you're going to get an in-depth analysis on how to get better at this game. That is what we do over here. So again guys, if you want to get better at this game, improve as a player, do all the great stuff, learn a couple things, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment your thoughts on the team down below. We always try to reach around 40 likes on the video. I think it's a draft analysis, we can aim for 50. So again, do all those great things. I will see you guys for week 1 with our battle against Gray and his Vancouver Titangs. And this guy has Lele. And he has Cinderace. And he has Naganadel. Spooky team, but we're going to try and get it done. Thank you for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I will see you guys next time.